everybody. Welcome to the SOS Small Business Success Podcast. I'm your host, Bonnie Bonadeo. It's good to be here. So we're all about building brands that survive while developing you to thrive. And I've got a great show for you today to be able to share with you some of the challenges that I came across in a lot of my travel this past year. So let's get started. Welcome aboard. Today's episode is called Lost at Sea, and we are on episode 141. And you can find it on Spotify, iTunes, and then you can also do the version where there's the video presentation attached to it. They're like little mini training sessions on YouTube. You go to Small Business Success on YouTube. Track me down, Bonnie Bonadeo, and you'll be able to find all of my podcasts on YouTube as well. So I hope you'll subscribe and join me there. Now, you guys, they say I'm a speaker, coach, author, podcaster. I've added one more label onto that, and that's leader, because that's really where a lot of the challenges that I see that we're being faced with in the industry right now. So I say that leadership is a combination of really effective communications, really great speaking skills, and understanding your personal brand along with your business brand. Like those two go hand in hand. And I can help you in any of these areas: leadership, communication, speaking, and branding. That's my expertise and my forte. So let's talk about the foundation of this podcast and the challenges that I saw firsthand while I was out at several shows over the past season. So from January to June, I did about 5 or 6 shows. And I asked the audience, and every single one of them, what were their challenges? And there was very much repetitive challenges that were coming up. A couple more obscure ones, but mainly the same challenges. So I kind of put the list together for you to be able to share with you. And I'm gonna walk you through like the anchors, the 5 anchors for success, that you can see that anytime we have a challenge, there's always a solution for it. But I think sometimes we're overwhelmed by the bigness of the challenge, and then we're super overwhelmed by figuring out how to narrow down some type of action or activity to be able to see results. And this was so much more apparent to me. So at a recent event, I was hired to moderate a couple classes. And when I say moderate, it was like I wasn't, standing and delivering my own content. I brought in salon and spa owners, and we had the opportunity to be able to create this roundtable approach to business strategies and growth. And so I was very excited to put this program together. We had a decent amount of signups for it to make it a very manageable but interactive class. And when I kind of like introduced the class and started out with the opportunity and gave them kind of the framework of what we were going to be doing, I said, so I'm going to let you guys start at this point to work on, we discussed, first of all, what were the top 5 challenges that they were facing. And then we chose one to be able to all work together with as a group. And then each group got to go to a table and work on one that they felt was more in alignment with where they were at, so that they could work the process of the 5 anchors for success. That was too much for them to begin with. And they weren't clear on how to be able to implement strategy. And that was an eye-opener for me, because I see that, I can't work on very big things. I have to keep narrowing them down to something that is manageable and bite-sized, and then to be able to see that there is an opportunity to get some return on my investment on it. So it was actually the top 6 in this particular one. These were salon and spa owners. So hiring was one of them. And these weren't in any particular order, but this is how they showed up from them. Hiring, marketing. And they said marketing, but I got to tell you guys, that's a very broad subject. You could market 200 different things within your business. But I had to get them to narrow it down. What were they challenged by with marketing? And then how they said it was they didn't know how to bring in new clients via a marketing opportunity or a campaign type of thing. Managing team, standard operating procedures, compensation, and then scaling. These were the top 6. Did these sound familiar to you at all? Are you challenged by any one of those? I think any small business today would be challenged by any one of these in here. And so we looked at the one that we did together as a group. We took on the marketing one because there was a lot of conversation around this. So when somebody said marketing, and I was kind of helping them to narrow it down, there was a lot of conversation on this. People immediately went to, I put stuff on social media and it doesn't work. I don't know how to find new clients. And then that's when we knew that the new client was a strategy that we were going to be able to work on. So we took this top challenge and I walked them through the process of being able to show them, okay, so let's talk about new clients. How many new clients do you want? Or are you expecting? Or what's your goal? And I said, and let's just plan on this being a 90-day or a 3-month process here. We're going to look at something for 90 days because at 90 days, we want to see some results. And if it works, we then can duplicate it and do it again. And it should feel more automatic. And then we can take on another project for the next 90 days. So we looked at a 90-day plan. And what I really anticipated was that some people in the audience, if I asked them, how many new clients are you getting a month right now? That some people would go to their phone, pull up their software systems that they have within their salon and their spa, and be able to run a report to be able to determine that. No one was able to do that. So what I can tell you first is that we're not paying attention to the numbers that we need to. Okay, marketing is only as good as knowing where you're starting from and where you want to go. And then we're going to implement a plan that's going to fit in between that focuses on these 5 anchors: operations, mindset, marketing, and education. So when we looked at this new client campaign, we had to just kind of like, okay, well, this is just a model to experience putting a strategy together. So let's just say that each month you average 20 new clients. So at that point, that's 20, 40, 60 clients in 3 months. We want that number to be 100 instead of 60. We want it to be 100. So that's 40 new clients we're aiming for, right? This sounds more doable, right? So then we looked at, first of all, the operations part of it. Like, why would new clients want to come to you? What's the easefulness of them? So no matter how you market it, what's the easefulness for them to be able to book an appointment with you? Can they just go online? Is there an incentive for them as a new client? Do they need to pick up the phone and call? Do you have availability even of your team to take on new clients? Is there opportunities for new clients to get on your books based on the size of your team? Because remember, their number one thing that they said was hiring. So we looked at all the elements of operation. And then we went into mindset. Okay, so now that we know this, what's going to stop you from doing this? What's going to stop you from putting this into place? When you go back home, let's talk about that. So then we looked at all the challenges of why we are overwhelmed and we won't start the project and the strategy. Then we looked at the marketing. Of course, this took up a good portion of the time in putting together a strategy. And of course, the strategy was threefold. We looked at the community within a 5-mile radius. We looked at small business collaborations, so other businesses nearby that you could do collaborations with. Of course, we implemented a social media plan. And then we looked at other advertising opportunities within the marketplace, whether they were for a fee, small fee, or something that was more substantial. Like a small fee might be a mom's group in your county or city. A large one might be, like a city style magazine, one of those kind of high-end magazines that you would run an advertising campaign for. So we had all of these options, lots of different marketing tools to be able to do that. And then we looked at the education of what is your process now? So if you get a new client, you get 60 of them right now on average, we estimated. What's in it for them? What's the experience like for them? And we're not even going to think about, are they even coming back? Because we know that the benchmark for new clients coming back is around 30%. 30%. Okay, that's high. So we're getting 60 new clients coming in a 3-month period, and only 30% of them are coming back to us over the next 3 to 6 months in there. So we want to increase that retention average too, but we had to really look at what's in it for them. What does this look like for them? And is the experience worth them wanting to come back to begin with? So it's never just one thing when we have to look at this. And I know that even sounds like it can be overwhelming, but it's really not. It's really not. I can help you get these strategies into place. I can help you with one strategy that can help you see how to be able to implement a plan that you can get that return on investment with. Now, here's what the challenges that they came up with. They really struggled with strategy. So they immediately thought one of the ways that they would get new clients is if they increase their followers on social media. And I'm like, but increase the followers for what? To get new clients. Then the strategy is always new clients, not increasing your followers. Okay, do you see how that's not a strategy? Increasing your followers is not a strategy, unless you're an influencer. Then you get a return on your investment. You get paid maybe for having more followers and being able to influence or cross-promote more things. But a brick and mortar business, having more followers is not necessarily going to be the answer to new clients. We have to work on a really solid strategy. They didn't know where to start. They got very frustrated with the whole process of this class because they didn't know where to start. They didn't know where they were currently at. In other words, when they kept thinking, I need more new clients, but when I asked them the question, who can answer the question for me right now? How many new clients do you get a month? And they couldn't answer it. So they didn't even have the foundational number available. They tried too many things and it diluted their efforts. Okay, so they just kind of threw spaghetti up against the wall, hoping that it would stick, right? And none of them made sense to being able to be really ultra targeted or focused on a new client campaign. Okay, it did not stick. They didn't stick with it long enough to see the results. So in other words, they tried it for a month and then they were like, that didn't work. What am I going to do now? Type of thing. They had no structure and no ability to scale based on these challenges. And they got incredibly frustrated in this class. So I kind of just regrouped and I said, all right, here's what I want to do. But let's just brainstorm. I'm going to give you guys all 20 minutes to just be able to talk amongst your table on ideas that we're doing that we might want to share with somebody else that we're having success with. Let's just talk about the success of what we're doing. And they ended up spending 20 minutes sharing ideas. And then I just kind of like whiteboarded any of those ideas so that they had them as and I created a follow-up email to all of them to be able to have them see, these are all the ideas that we shared in this class, which one are you going to implement type of thing. And in the end, everybody was really grateful for the interaction. They paid, a certain amount of money to be in this roundtable session, but what they got out of it was connection, the ability to talk with other like-minded salon owners, and to hear a few new ideas. I did not successfully meet my goal of what I had intended to do with that class, which was really teach them how to be able to implement a strategy all the way through the process to see a return on their investment. And that made me realize that more and more people are really struggling with the overwhelm of what to do to be able to grow and scale their business. And that's one of the reasons why I do the SOS strategy thing. So here's 2 opportunities for you. Well, I got more than 2 opportunities for you. One, you can download a free 1-page plan to be able to just kind of like commit to getting started on something. And we're talking about this now because we're past the 6-month mark of this year. So let's start planning for the fourth quarter and the holiday season. Let's get a plan together for the holiday season and bump up any of our sales. If there's an opportunity that you want to get the full plan, it's a 21-page plan, and we would put together a 90-day opportunity for you here, because this plan for only $37 comes with a free session with me. And we're going to take one of your strategies that you're challenged by, and I'm going to walk you through it all the way so that you have a plan to implement and focus on and see the results of your action. So it's $37, get a free session with me, or you have the free download 1-page plan in there. You can go to SOSSalonstrategy.com for the $37 one, SOSSalonstrategy.com. And for the free one, it's SOS 1-page plan. One spelt out, O-N-E, 1pageplan.com. Now, no matter what, at the end of the day, you guys have to plan for success. And the way that you plan for success is really narrowing in on a focus of, new clients, adding more value or upgrading existing clients, finding or recruiting new stylists, or creating opportunities for your existing stylists to be able to make more money or create a better experience for your clients. Okay, increasing retail. There's a handful of really good strategies, and they're all very simple, but I think we get overwhelmed by too much. And then we're not quite sure how to narrow it down. So putting a strategy in place is critical to your return on investment and your timer, which is time, money, energy, and resources. Don't be wasting your time anymore. Get the support that you need. Get the help that you need, all right? So set up a free strategy session with me, all right? Even if you get the 1-page plan, set up a free strategy session with me. This one's a little bit shorter to be able to, talk you through something. The other one at $37 is a full session, all right? You can attend my live masterclass that's coming up, Heart and Tech. This is a great way to be able to learn some leadership skills about strategy, how to motivate your team, plus how to be able to get tech involved in regards to AI support to be able to help you put those strategies together, all right? Or you can attend one of my live events. I have a live event coming up, Beauty Leadership Lab in Atlanta, Georgia, October 19th through the 21st. This is going to be a fantastic, amazing event. We have some keynote speakers, a salon panel. I'm in collaboration with 2 other industry coaches that are fantastic, not just me. And it's only $297 for the tuition until the end of this month. So you got to buy your ticket fast. But you got to do something to navigate your course. You can't keep doing the things the same way and expecting a different result, right? You got to stop being lost at sea and really bring the focus back in, so that you can look at ways to be able to scale your business. Thanks for joining me today, you guys. I really appreciate it. Here's a little bit more information about the Beauty Leadership Lab. You can go to beautyleadershiplab.com to find out more. Again, early registration ends at the end of this month, so it's only $297 right now. It's going to be at the Sunlights Academy in Atlanta, Georgia. I have a keynote speaker. Candy Shaw is going to be there, the Educator of the Year. We're also going to be doing a tour of Jameson Shaw, Candy's salon, on Tuesday morning. So lots of good opportunities for you to join me, work with me, figure out how to be able to stop feeling overwhelmed. I can help. I look forward to it. All right, talk to you soon.